This episode of Profiles in Risk is brought to you by InsurTech Connect Las Vegas. The legendary ITC is coming back to Vegas October 14 to 16 at the Mandalay Bay Casino. ITC is the largest InsurTech conference in the world by a long shot and the absolute cannot miss event of the year. We never miss it, neither should you. Register today using our discount code INSNerd200. Again, that's INSNerd200 and see you in Vegas, baby. And when you're there, look for me. I'm the guy with the red top hat and ask me for a magic trick. Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Profiles in Risk. This is your host, extremely sleep-deprived Tony Cañas, extremely caffeinated. I'm batting the second in, I believe I have a pitching the second in, I believe, my sports metaphors, especially when I'm tired. Pitching the second in, I believe, a quadruple header today. Today I have with me Chris Merideth. Chris is a 21-year insurance veteran who has spent the last 12 and a half years in the legislative affairs department at a major carrier and is running as a candidate for the Oklahoma Insurance Commissioner office. And I must point out, go to his website, Chris Merideth, that is spelled Merideth for OK, as in Oklahoma. So Chris Merideth for OK.com, because his campaign color is red, which is why Tony is wearing my normal red. Chris, so awesome to have you on the show. You are the very first candidate we ever have had on the show. 700 plus episodes. Episode 700 came out last Wednesday. And 700 plus episodes. We have never had somebody running for DOI in any state, so excited to have my first. I also don't exactly know what to ask you. So the microphone is yours. You guide the conversation today.
Oh, well, I appreciate being here, Tony, and I love breaking barriers and doing things that have never been done before. Innovation is absolutely something I want to bring to our department here in Oklahoma. Why I'm running? I mean, it's real simple. Oklahomans are being absolutely crushed by homeowners insurance prices.
Not surprising. Okay.
Yeah. And, we have a lot of risk with weather and every kind of weather problem you can think of. And it's real easy for people to sit back and go, well, there's nothing you can do. But there actually is things you can do. It's just going to take a lot of leadership and a lot of effort, focused effort to get it done. And that's kind of where I come in. I've been behind the scenes, but I also care about my home state that I've lived here my whole life and go back, before statehood, my ancestors were here, so this is really important to me. And
before statehood, okay. So I don't know if Oklahoma is like Texas, where you have to be like fifth generation Texan to be considered a Texan, but you're like an Oklahoman.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, my grandparents were born before statehood, and then before that, we were Choctaw Indian, back before then. So it's we go way back, further than I probably know. But I care about the state, and I opened my own insurance policy, and I'm just absolutely shocked at what I see. And from being behind the scenes and being in the legislative arena, I know how things work. This is the things that we need to do. I love where our department is headed. I think we're in the right direction with the free market and with the other things we're doing, but we've got to move a lot faster. And we've got to be a lot more collaborative and get these ideas out and in the market right now, because we don't have time. And I fear that we're close to a crisis stage, Florida type of situation.
So given that I don't live in Oklahoma and that I don't do a lot on the legislative side, and given that Oklahoma is an elected state for DOI, where regular Oklahoma citizens will have a chance to vote for you, basically. Well, that is not my normal listenership. I'm going to assume that lots of non-insurance people will end up listening to this who will be from Oklahoma. Okay. So I'm going to treat it like just a local radio show for a little bit. Okay. So let's assume that your average Oklahoman does know their home insurance prices have been crazy. And that's basically all they know. They're just frustrated. Okay. Number one, when is the election?
2026, June.
Okay, you have a year.
primary.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect, perfect, perfect. You have a year. Okay, you just started this campaign basically.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So why have my homeowners insurance prices gone so crazy?
Yep. So there's two pieces to the puzzle here. The first one is cost. The second one is risk. Oklahomans know we live in tornado zone, hail zone, wind zone, earthquakes, ice, fires. We got it all, and that's being priced into the market, and the risk is going up, especially as insurance companies and carriers have gotten better at the data and finding where potential hazards are. So that's step one. And you're right. There's nothing you can do about changing the weather, but we have the worst weather. Therefore, we need to build to that risk. And that's one of the biggest changes we need to make here in Oklahoma is we need to start building smarter homes.
Okay, hold on. So basically, what I'm hearing, and I agree. By the way, as an insurance guy, I agree that we have to build for the risk we actually face. Um, so what I'm hearing is that Oklahoma currently, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't have the building codes that it should. The way that I don't know, Florida has invested in the last few years in like very strong building codes because they face constant hurricanes. Is that fairly accurate?
That's very accurate.
And is the Department of Insurance the one that like how does the Department of Insurance affect building codes? Because I'm guessing it's not the Department of Insurance that sets building codes.
Right. It's a very indirect
Okay, perfect.
association. Yeah.
Okay.
And that really is what I want to hit on is what you're going to get from me as commissioner. Because
yes,
as legislative affairs manager, my job is to come advocate, basically for the industry and for our customers at the legislature. I'm going to bring that into the department. I'm going to bring a very heavy advocacy arm into the department to go find the things that need to be fixed and then go get it. I don't care if building codes are not necessarily we're in charge of, but we can go affect change and influence those.
Okay. Well, I often go through the website, and again, it's the first politician I'm interviewing. And you're a new politician. You're a business guy, but a long-time insurance person becoming a politician or running for office. Running for office is the way to put it. Okay. So Chris Merideth is running to protect Oklahomans from rising premiums, shady practices. Oklahomans from rising premiums to shady practices. Oklahomans deserve an advocate who will ensure fair, honest insurance coverage for families, farmers, and business owners alike. Fantastic. I get that. Now, when you say shady practices, what kind of shady practices do we need to like are not being dealt with correctly right now?
So recently, the insurance department issued a bulletin. It was really an update. We got insurance companies out here that are selling coverage that says, if you are outdated on your building code, we'll when we repair your property, your roof, we'll pay for the upgrade to meet code.
Yes.
So then they're going around, some of them, not everybody, but some companies are going around calling because they're enforced at the municipal level. They'll call the city and ask them, "Are you enforcing this building code?" And the city says no, because there's nobody enforcing any codes anywhere that I'm aware of. So they won't cover it. That's the kind of shady thing. They're kind of using, like a gray area to get around paying for the upgrades. Some of these people are, some of these carriers.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Perfect. All right. Perfect. Okay. And in your opinion, the DOI currently is not standing up to those carriers in the way that Oklahomans deserve.
Yeah, I think we could be a lot more aggressive and assertive in that type of situation.
Perfect. All right. To cut red tape, ordinance and regulations stifle our economy. Chris Merideth will streamline outdated rules and promote a business-friendly environment while keeping consumers' protections intact. No, that just intuitively makes sense to me. And Chris Merideth will fight against federal overreach, defend the free market principles, and work to keep Oklahoma strong, free, and sovereign. That makes sense to me. I personally have no questions. Always feel free to add comments if you want to, but I have no questions on it. Okay, so the issues: consumer protection without overreach, fair enforcement, and smarter oversight, not more government. Okay, business-friendly reforms, cut red tape, modernized regulations, promote a competitive insurance market that works for Oklahoma. Fantastic. Lower costs, greater access, push for transparency and competition to lower insurance costs for families and employers. Big fan of that one personally. Yes, transparency, super important in for a properly functioning insurance market. Oklahoma first, a voice that puts our values, our economy, and our citizens first, not Washington D.C. Perfect. All right. And join the fight, donate, volunteer, endorse. Fantastic. All right. Okay. So then, if you click on the, by the way, listeners, if we're recording this on June 30th, 2025, the primary is a year from now. If you're listening to this in October 2025, go check out the website. The wording might have changed on things. Right. Look at the latest wording, which I can't predict. Okay. Okay. So then I click on the learn more or on learn more, which takes me to the issues page, and that's a little bit of a deeper dive. Fantastic. Okay. Consumer protection without overreach. Perfect. Perfect. Business friendly reforms. Okay.
Business friendly reform, real quick.
Absolutely. Please.
So one of the important things we're going to need to do as an advocate is to advocate against bad ideas. I've already seen, like this year in Texas, they try to copy California's regulatory system, and I'm like, did you not learn anything? And they're doing it for political reasons. They want to, they control the rate. They can control the political narrative around it.
The idea of Texas copying anything from California for political reasons, I am very curious about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can go and check it out. It was one step away from getting to the final legislative hurdle. And, basically it was just, they wanted to put caps on how much you could raise, or put, requirements on hearings and things if you want to raise rates beyond a certain amount, which is exactly like California. It basically is a prior approval process. And the problem with that is, it sounds neat, but yeah, if you're, it can be monkeyed with a little bit too much on the political side. So you can delay rate increases or push back and cause exactly what happens in California. And then if carriers can't get the rate they need to match to the risk, then it distorts the market and they leave. And
yes.
I'm really worried that, I'm glad it hasn't happened here yet, but this is a quick way politically, to go out and say, oh, hey, I'm going to cut your rates we're going to get rid of, the current regulatory system. You don't want to do that. We need a robust system. And to attack this from a free market, conservative point of view, you attack the root cause. And the root causes, they're not pretty, and they're not going to be overnight fixes, but they're the right thing to do. And that's the kind of thing I want to do, is do the right thing for the right reason, not just doing what's politically happy, makes everyone look good on TV or something. And we don't want to do that. We want to go in and actually attack the root cause of the costs.
Perfect. All right. Quick question, because this is interesting. Okay. California, you've mentioned already, and then I'm going to bring up Florida. So California and Florida, in our world of insurance, often get mentioned as two extremes, neither of which work when it comes to insurance regulation, right? They both have difficult markets with just big property values, and with lots of risk. And then Florida especially has like a really tough legislative environment, judicial environment. So if Texas is copying California in some things, like basically the question I'm trying to get to is, I'm assuming that you don't want to copy either Texas. No, excuse me. I'm assuming you don't want to copy either California or Florida. So what?
Well, I would say there are things we can
Okay.
copy, like
Okay.
Florida's. So Oklahoma's got a very difficult, challenging litigation environment as well, just like
Perfect.
Florida. Florida enacted reforms that caused rates to go down and brought carriers into the market. That's what we need to do here. We need to use, there's plenty of things in that reform package that we can employ here, and we did some good stuff last session here. There's
Mm-hmm.
work to be done in that area for litigation reform.
Okay. Perfect. 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 Okay. Uh, as I was reading the page a little bit in the issues area, okay, Oklahomans deserve an insurance commissioner who protects people, not bureaucracy. Amazing. Chris Merideth believes in a fair film environment. Cool. Without growing government and without micromanaging the industry. Fantastic. Uh, okay, and you explain a little bit what that means. All good. Government should be a referee, not a roadblock. Agreed. Uh, keep playing the field fair without tipping the scales. Perfect. Okay. Uh, the goal: a competitive, open insurance market that works for Main Street, not Wall Street. I love that. I want to read that again because I read that really fast.
Yeah, read that one.
Business friendly reforms. The goal: a competitive, open insurance market that works for Main Street, not Wall Street. My friend, we are on the same page on that one. Of course, implementation is the hard part, but
Yeah.
yes.
So let's hit on that.
Please.
So competitive market, kind of the popular thought process is Oklahoma has a competitive market. We have all these carriers that are offering home insurance, for example. But my thought process on this is, I listen, as a free market guy, you listen to the market. You listen, it's talking through price and through what's going on. And, our carriers, they may be offering things, but the prices are skyrocketing. That's a red flag. That's a sick market, number one. And then you've got coverage being pulled back. So they're offering these policies, but they're not the same coverages. You're losing replacement cost to actual cash value. You're seeing more scheduled roofs almost exclusively. If your roof is over 10 years old, good luck. There's a lot of things, you're seeing the claims process. Carriers are really clamping down. And again, they're going to that gray area to try to save money, which is not serving Oklahomans at all. And it's not serving the industry either. It makes us look bad. This is the kind of thing
Agreed. Yes.
Kills our trust.
Yes, agreed. Lower costs, greater access. Oklahomans are paying more and getting less. Chris will fight to bring down premiums, improve transparency, and expand access. Those are all very, very good things, especially in rural and underserved areas. I'm going to take a wild guess. There's a lot of rural areas in Oklahoma.
A little bit.
I have only visited once, and it was I can't even remember. I want to say Oklahoma City, but it might have been Tulsa. And it was like a quick. I spoke at the CPCU Society, and I flew back out. And it was several years ago. Okay, perfect. For market-based solutions that reward efficiency and competition, that's fantastic. Work with lawmakers to reduce heating costs and unnecessary mandates that drive up rates. Ensure fair pricing practices while respecting the role of the private sector. Perfect. When consumers can compare, choose, and trust their coverage. When consumers can compare, choose, and trust their coverage, costs go down and quality goes up. I would agree with that.
So
go ahead,
Tony.
Yeah.
So my thought is on the problem with insurance is a lot of times you don't know what you're buying, right? You buy a policy, you've got a general idea of the coverages you're getting. If you're lucky, it's been explained to you really well, but you don't know really what you're getting until the day you really need it.
Mm-hmm.
Your roof blows off,
Mm-hmm.
then you find out what kind of claims coverage you really bought.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when you're delivering on the promise.
Yep.
So, and you don't really know that in the beginning. So what I want to do is really, you said competition, which I played football. I'm an athlete. I love scoreboards and things like that. We need to get better at educating our public on, hey, here's the carriers that we're getting all these complaints on and what they're complaining about. So you can at least go and see what you're buying from that aspect, kind of like a consumer reports type situation, where you can go and see, here's the all the complaints, they're coming. You can just list it straight up and just here's how many we're getting. And you need to know which ones are getting the complaints. So when you're going to buy, because I hear this all the time. Oh, I'm going to this company because it's cheaper. And I asked the question, I said, well, what are you getting? And they don't know. They have no idea what they're getting. And then I'm just like, you need to go to, some type of report to say, well, they're getting a lot of complaints when the day comes that you need them. So do you want to, be cheap now, or do you want to get a bad deal later? And those types of things, I think that's a free market type of deal where we can come in and say, here's the scoreboard, go compete. And this will drive companies to try to drive that down. You drive that down through, good staffing, good education, staying away from the shady practices, and being real with your customers. I mean, so I think it educates our consumers, but it also drives better behavior with the carriers. Because I can tell you right now, when I worked in claims, you don't want a DOI complaint, and it didn't matter if it was justified or not. You don't want them because the manager's coming over, he's coming to talk to you, you're having a meeting, it ain't good.
Yep.
And a
Yep.
lot of times those will happen because you're just overworked. You're getting, you're getting too many claims. You need help, or you don't understand something. You need more training, and so all this kind of works together. And this is just kind of a beginning of my thought process on how we can engage on that.
Perfect. Yeah, I would agree. Perfect. Again, as an insurance nerd who does not know Oklahoma, I agree. And a lot of what you're talking about, this last little section about transparency and competition, and especially the part about people not understanding what they bought, that's not an Oklahoma problem. It might be worse in Oklahoma. That is an insurance problem. That is an industry.
Yeah.
And that's a larger conversation. But yes, it's a problem that's an industry we need to fix. All right. Oklahoma first. Too often, insurance policies dictated by bureaucracy in Washington. Chris will fight for state sovereignty and protect Oklahoma values. That means resisting federal mandates that hurt Oklahoma consumers or restrict business growth, supporting legislation that puts more decision-making power in the hands of local leaders and citizens, and being a conservative leader to keep Oklahoma in control of its future. Chris will never let Oklahoma be a testing ground for big government experiments. This campaign is about putting Oklahoma first, always. Yeah. And I believe that we have gone through all of that's on the website right now as of a year before voting happens. So I encourage everybody listening to go to Chris Merideth for Oklahoma, or actually Chris Merideth for OK, right? The code for Oklahoma. Chris Merideth for OK.com. And check out the latest version because things will, improve in the way that they're written, I'm sure. Especially since it's the first time I actually don't know if it's the first time you're running, but anyway. Okay, perfect. So Chris, it's been very, very interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. I did not know that I would enjoy this conversation before we started recording. So
glad to surprise you.
Yes. So for the listeners, the link to Chris's LinkedIn, as is traditional on this podcast, is below in the show notes, and the link to his website, Chris Merideth for OK.com, is also in the show notes. Especially if you're in Oklahoma, go check it out. Chris, any final thoughts before we call it a day for today?
Yeah, I would like to, and I'll speak directly to any Oklahomans that are listening. Look, here's the deal. What you're going to get out of me is I've already started it, but day one, you're going to see I'm going to bring everyone together. You're in the middle. The Oklahoma consumer is in the middle. You've got roofers, insurance companies, and everybody else that serve you around you. That's how I think. I'm going to bring them together. We're going to find the problems, and then I'm going to lead the effort with their backing to get changes done that need to be done. If it's at the legislature, it's at the legislature. If it's in the private market, we're going to get it done there too. But we're going to lead a large group together and make things better. Not just now, but into the future. We're going to change the whole landscape. We're going to make Oklahoma the absolute most resilient state in the nation.
Fantastic. I will leave one thought, which is go vote. People all over the country don't show up enough to vote, and even less midterm season compared to presidential season. Go vote. Go vote.
Get out and vote.
Get out and vote. Thank you so much for your time, Chris. Stay on the line. But thank you so much for your time today.
All right.